Welcome, 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 Inspired Tribe. Welcome to the Inspired Livestream on, is it Thursday? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, February 24th, 2020, WON 21. It's a winning attitude that we keep displaying throughout these live streams. Thank you for tuning in, Inspired Tribe. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free, we're here together. We enjoy that you're here. We assume you have assumptions, and we're going to lead through this topic today and dissolve all those assumptions and dive into a really fascinating topic today. But first, let me just say thank you to all the new tribe members. We enjoy seeing you all in the live chat. We know not all of you are live chatters. That's totally fine. But if you feel inspired, please let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us your name. And let us know where you're tuning in from. And Inspired Tribe, remember, there's a bunch of really great ways to connect amongst each other. Of course, the live chat. We still have a Facebook presence. We have a Telegram channel where you guys can connect, and we can even create a chat there. So there's we want to create possibilities for all of you and all of us to connect together. And we also want to, these live streams 3 times a week, they're supposed to be thought-provoking. They're supposed to be inspiring. They're supposed to be shift moments also. And so we always, it isn't always a coherent series of topics, although they usually string together. But it's more about picking up what's in the energy all around us on the planet, all around you, and then kind of creating a shift moment. And that's been the purpose for the past 137. Today's 138. Not counting the shorter live streams, 138 times that we've come together in this format. That usually, like 99.9% of the time, there's this beautiful love painting that my wife made behind us, and we so enjoy this, and we so enjoy the expansion of this journey, and we so enjoy seeing new faces and the original tribe members. So thank you for being here with us. We really love you all. Let me give say a quick hello to without even having started to talk, today I made someone's enemy list. K Ambrose took the lead here and says, dude, you're fake news. Welcome to my enemy list. Well, so be it. K Ambrose, I really do not do enemies, so we can be friends, and you're welcome. You're still part of the Inspired Tribe, right? We're very welcoming. So Barb, good to see you. Agnieszka, wonderful to see you. Lindsay's here. Sarah Jones is here. Illy is here. Welcome. Siobhan, Ellen G is here. Emma's tuned in. I think I mentioned her. Hey, Emma. So I already see here we have, of course, in the United States, we have Scotland. We have Italy. We have, let me see. Well, Siobhan, she's in Illinois, but I think she's of Irish descent, so that's kind of, we have a little bit of Ireland in the house too. So today we called this live stream, Why Conspiracy Theories Are Dangerous. And hey, Lily from Switzerland. So we're gonna dive into this topic, and we might put the cart before the horse here, kind of for a little bit. Let's look at the emotions that happen around this topic, and then move closer, kind of like what we always do. We take an onion and we peel it. And I always think, people just take the outer layer of the onion and then they eat the rest. And I usually think it's at least 2 or 3 layers until it gets good. The rest is kind of chewy. I don't like it that much today. So let's chew through this onion here. In today's world, for most people, as soon as they hear, well, there's a conspiracy theory, it's like it almost puts them in a completely different state of emotion, state of mind. It's like, oh yeah, that's just a conspiracy theory. We're not going to talk about that. And so emotionally speaking, it always, as soon as that term is being thrown out there, it causes an emotional reaction.
As you see with the first comment.
As we can see, as Kristin is pointing out with the first comment in a live chat today, this already caused an emotional reaction. Not even knowing what we're really going to talk about, but it caused an emotional reaction, which goes to prove the point. Everyone has an emotional reaction. Some people have a positive feeling and they go, well, you know, I want to dive into it. I want to research. I want to see what this is really about. So there is this reaction, and there's a reason why there's a reaction. This is not just developed kind of randomly like anything else. Nothing ever develops randomly. But let's take kind of an assumption and move from there. So the reason why there's even a possibility for conspiracies or let's say conspiracy theories, and then we're going to explain what those are. The reason is that there's this idea that there's an authority. We don't know who that authority is, but there is an authority that sets the narrative for what is true and authentic. And in today's world, that narrative isn't even governments. It's mostly and mainly media that sets that narrative. Whoever is behind that and whoever, you know, whatever's behind it is not so important at this point. But that's kind of, there is a narrative that comes into the public, and that narrative is considered the gold standard. It's considered the true north. And so everything that deviates from that narrative today is considered a conspiracy theory. Even though we have to look at what these words mean, where they come from, and then we're going to explain why it's really dangerous, and most importantly, who it's dangerous for. So the word conspiracy, what does it really mean? Because very slick people have taken, you know, a long time ago, they took two words and they combined them together, and then they created an emotional pattern around these words that today now boxes people in as soon as they question something. So what a conspiracy is, and it's literally a definition from a dictionary, is an agreement to perform together an illegal, wrongful, or subversive act, or an agreement between two or more people to accomplish a legal purpose through illegal means. So basically, in plain English, what that means is when two or more people come together to either do something that is illegal in its nature, or they use illegal means, unlawful means, to achieve a legal purpose. And there are so many examples in our daily world. I could start now and probably go into 2022 and still not be done with all the things. But let's take something that is very, for those of you who've been around for a little longer than 10 years or so, you will remember there was a time where the whole world was talking about cholesterol. Everyone had high cholesterol, and everyone needed cholesterol blockers, and everyone needed the medication, and everyone was high risk. And this was kind of the, you know, this was the ozone layer of the body. And so everyone was talking about high cholesterol. And all the doctors were checking for cholesterol. Everyone was tested for cholesterol, and everyone was high risk and in danger, and all these things. It was all the rage for a long time. 80s, 90s, I'd say that was the peak. And naturally, a lot of people, you know, were prescribed drugs to block cholesterol or lower cholesterol. And then it moved into the food industry, and they created cholesterol-free or low cholesterol foods and all of that stuff. But what nobody knew back then is that the standard level, the average level of cholesterol in the human body in a healthy and natural state is at a certain level. And what the medical industry did and what the pharmaceutical industry did back then is they would set the normal much lower than it actually is. So let's take a number, because I don't really know the number of that. But let's say normal is 15, whatever that is. And they then said instead of normal is 15, they put out into all the publications information to all the doctors that 10 is normal. So if 10 all of a sudden is normal, but actually 15 is normal, then almost everybody will have high cholesterol, because you have a too low of a standard to go from. And this is what happened in the cholesterol industry. And what that, of course, in turn caused is a spike in sales of all cholesterol-related drugs. Now, this was knowingly done. This was done on purpose. So the legal purpose here was to have drug sales. That's not illegal to sell drugs. But it was done through illegal means, because they were artificially creating a number that wasn't natural or normal for human beings. And so almost everyone fell into the high category and had to have drugs. This is a classic example of a conspiracy, because there were more than two people coming together to create this idea of how can we sell more drugs? Well, we need to create a problem. And this is where we get into the juicy details. This is usually most conspiracies. And again, a conspiracy only means that two or more people get together and have an agenda to create something, to get to the meat, to get something done. And then they want to figure out how to do it. Sometimes, it stays within the legal realm, then technically it isn't a conspiracy. But a lot of times it will have at least immoral, but usually also illegal acts to get there. And so these things happen every day, all around us. You could say that the whole marketing advertisement industry is based on that premise. And this is the same thing. You take great big companies, and I don't want to name certain names, but there's big companies that have a roster of thousands and thousands and thousands of products, and they have development teams, and these teams do nothing but develop new products, right? And a lot of times in the process of developing products, they create something that looks really good, smells really good, but no one needs it. There's no demand for that. So then there's a problem. We won't be able to sell it. So they go out and create a problem. They really create a problem. That's the illegal act. That's the conspiracy. This is in plain terms. But now we're going out and we're looking at the world. It's not just about product sales. It's not just about high cholesterol. It's about all of the events around us. And what has happened over the past decades is that people have, they were, at first, they're beginning to look at certain events and they're saying, well, this looks fishy. It doesn't seem like, this is what they say it is. And they go research it, and sure enough, they figure out there's so many discrepancies in the official story, it cannot be true. But what happens is, and this is where the emotional labeling has happened. This is why today you have news articles, TV segments, and news segments after news segments, and we'll get into the news in a minute here, that will tell you that conspiracy theories are dangerous. The dangerous QAnon conspiracy theories. And what they do is they say the word conspiracy theory, and as soon as they say it, the viewers at home go, oh, crazy people. Because what they say is, anyone who believes that there could be more to a story, anyone who has an alternate theory, anyone who questions what we're saying is a lunatic. And what does this do? It divides people. It creates segments of society that are undesirable now. And it creates a culture where you cannot openly express yourself. Although if you go into law enforcement, if you go into the solving of a crime, then what happens is, if there's a really good detective, he or she will always follow the leads that are there. And they might lead into different directions at first, because at first you have to follow all the leads, right? You have to follow and look at everything that presents itself. And by the process of exclusion, it's like science. You go, okay, this avenue didn't really go anywhere. Okay, this avenue didn't really go anywhere. And soon enough, you're going to get into the right avenue. But in today's world, a narrative is being presented to the people, and once people begin to question it, they're automatically crazy. They're conspiracy theorists. And why do they say it's dangerous? Why would it be dangerous to question something? Why would it be dangerous to make up your own mind? Why would it be dangerous to think for yourself? It is dangerous, but it's not dangerous for you. A scientist, that's all they do. If a scientist is discovering things, if they are researching things, they have to first have theories. And a theory, let me read that to you. So this is a definition, is a coherent group of tested general prepositions that can be used as principles of explanation for a class of phenomena. So this is already more than we think it is. So this is already very established. Even today, how many, 7 decades, 8 decades later, we still call it the relativity theory. It's still a theory. It hasn't been completely proven yet beyond the shadow of a doubt. But that's how science functions. And in science, nothing is out of the question because you have to follow all the leads. So if a scientist goes off script, he isn't a conspiracy theorist, or she's not a conspiracy theorist. It's just a scientist doing their work. But if you and I, if we go off script, if we question a narrative that the media gave us, or we question a narrative that the government gave us, we are crazy lunatics. So the conspiracy theories aren't dangerous to us. They're dangerous to the matrix. They're dangerous to the system. Because what happens is, two things happen when you have spend enough time doing your own research. Then two things will happen. Number one, you begin question everything. Very good. Because you don't live your life fully if you don't question everything. Because think about it. You're being born, and you're being born into an established system. Why would you on face value just take everything, for truth? No, you go, you have your own experiences, you follow your intuition, you do your own quest, and you confirm, or you can see that it isn't true, and then you follow your own guidance that will lead you to truth and authenticity. This is what it means to be a human being. We don't just take everything at face value, we question things. So that's the number one dangerous part. If you begin questioning stuff, you are not walking in line anymore. You're not keeping your head down. You're poking your nose into things. You're starting to ask questions. You're starting to research. You begin to realize, hey, I'm not just this body. I was always told that I'm just this body. I'm just this physiology here. But then you realize, no, there's more to it. There's a bigger part of me. There's a non-physical part of me. That in itself is a conspiracy theory. But hey, here we are, knowing this, living this. And then you realize I'm way bigger than this. So what other things are way bigger than, I've been told they are? So that's the first part. And the second part that happens is that you begin to withdraw your energy from these things because you know them not to be true. As soon as you realize that the normal cholesterol level in most bodies is 15, you will never go to a doctor and just say, hey, give me those cholesterol drugs. You will look at it from a different point of view because you will see that there was false information in this whole chain of informations that were going out. So the real question here is, who sets the narrative? We always ask this, who sets the narrative? Even in today's world, we have such predominant topics. We have the big V, and we have the big event on November 3rd that was the big F. Oh my God, we have to censor ourselves to be here on this platform, to even speak, because we're getting silenced for just speaking about ideas. We're not saying anything definitive. We're just speaking out about ideas and theories. And the narrative today, as we said before, is set mainly for most people by the media. And here's something very interesting. So we have this romantic image of the media, and even not just its status in society, but its legal status, right? So we believe that the media, the press, is held to a higher standard because I don't know why we think that, but we think that they're held to a higher standard and they inherently have to speak the truth. But if you actually go into the legal side of things and you realize there have been so many, even up to the Supreme Court, in the United States at least, and I assume it's very similar in other countries, there have been so many rulings that say that the media cannot be held accountable for lies, not misinformation that they spread unknowingly, because this is human. You might be wrong on something, okay. But even if they continue to lie when they know it's a lie, and they continue to spread misinformation, they can't be held liable. Do you know why? Because the media is considered entertainment. They're considered entertainment. So what they say is, in a legal sense, entertainment, so they can say whatever the hell they want. So it doesn't matter if you watch Saturday Night Live or if you watch the nightly news, it's based on the same principles. And the reason why I'm saying this is not to be cynical, is not to say, well, we're doomed and it's all going to hell. Quite to the contrary, it brings the power back to us. And this is the danger to the matrix. If we begin not feeding on those things that do not do us well, because if you are consumed by these news, what they call news, if you're consumed, it's one catastrophe after another. Everything is always bad. Everything's going to go to hell. Everything's going to be even worse tomorrow than it is today. But that's not truth. That's not authentic. That is a perpetual system of lies to keep you small, to keep you powerless. And in the matrix, this is the big conspiracy, really, is to keep you in the matrix. Because who in their right mind would say that these don't exist, that conspiracies don't exist, that two or more people get together to achieve an illegal goal? Come on. That's organized crime is just that. Every bank robbery that includes more than one person is a conspiracy. But the reason why this happened is because some 60, 70, or maybe 80 years ago now, there was this big event, and it began with the Area 51, with the UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And while we cannot really confirm how and what exactly happened there, we can see a pattern that developed after that worldwide, not just there. And what has happened is slowly they introduced this new term, conspiracy theorist, into the media, into the public eye. And so you didn't have to disprove what people were saying anymore. You didn't have to come out and say, well, this theory, this investigation is wrong, because all you had to say was, this is a crazy and dangerous conspiracy theory. And all of a sudden, because this term was emotionalized, it created a judgment on its own. And this is what has happened perpetually throughout history now. This is all the big events. As soon as there was an alternative theory, as soon as people said, well, I believe it was different, or some facts point into a completely different direction. For example, let's take another big one, a big rabbit hole, the JFK assassination. All it takes is 2 hours of your research to realize it could not have been one guy, one bullet that did the trick. It just doesn't work that way. It defies physics, it defies logic, it defies everything. It doesn't really take much. And most people know this. But in the media, because they needed to drive this home, everyone who said anything but Lee Harvey Oswald shot the guy from the library across the street, everyone that says something different was a conspiracy theorist. And because he is or she's a conspiracy theorist, they're crazy. That's the whole thing. But what has happened, people, when they feel authenticity, when they feel truth, they keep digging, they keep going, they keep moving in that direction. And this is important. And I know, especially in the spiritual community, sometimes it's like, don't do that. Don't stick your mind in there. It's going to be negative for you. It really isn't, because once you go deeper, you go into more authentic realms. And what you realize is the fabric of this reality isn't what it appears to be. But what you realize even more is, I have deeper desires. I want something authentic. I want something real. And you can only figure this out when you become aware. You cannot change what you're not aware of. And so unless we realize how this is woven together and how this works and what the key elements are, we will unknowingly keep giving energy to things that we actually don't want, just because they look shiny on the surface. And this is why these conspiracy theories aren't dangerous to us. They're dangerous to the matrix. So I'm not for baseless accusations. I'm not for people, going after other people based on some meme that they found on social media. But I am all about exploring what truth and authenticity is, because this kind of contrast really helps us to realize not just what we want individually, but how we want to move forward as a society, how we want to create new systems. If you realize that the monetary system isn't what it really appears to be, that it really is a big conspiracy, if you realize that all these systems are that, then you become a danger, not to yourself. People who live truth and authenticity aren't dangerous to themselves. They aren't dangerous to other people. They're dangerous to a system that isn't truth and isn't authenticity. That's all it is. It literally, because what you do is when you begin to be authentic, you shine a light. And when light shines into a dark room, the darkness cannot persist. It cannot exist there any longer. So we, as quote unquote conspiracy theorist, although I don't like to use that term. I consider ourselves to be truth seekers and just people who want to live their best authentic self. We are a danger to a system that doesn't want people to discover that, because that's the biggest conspiracy of them all. It isn't JFK, it isn't 9/11, it isn't the banking system, it isn't the political system. The biggest conspiracy of them all is that they, whoever they really are, make you believe that you're powerless, that you're small, that you cannot be a powerful creator in your own world, and that you cannot create positive change. And so there's this beautiful story of an image where you see thousands and thousands and thousands of houses, and in each house there's a person that sits there, and there's a little bubble coming from their head, and head says, well, what can I as one person change in this big world? And so millions of people think that same thing. What am I supposed to change? I'm just a little person here. I don't really have any power. But we do have so much power as individuals and as groups. If we create a collective vision, we create a new collective reality. And that only happens when you become aware. And that's why we have always encouraged people to follow that curiosity, follow that interest that they have in a subject, even if it's a dark subject, because there are dark subjects out there. There are things out there that are beyond imagination for a feeling, loving human being. But if some of us dedicate ourselves to these topics, not in terms of just mental interest, but bringing our light to these topics, we become co-healers and co-creators in a new reality. And so we can transform things that people thought are untransformable. We can change things that people say are unchangeable. We can actually better things that people say cannot be made better because they are just the way they are. And we've never accepted that. Things aren't just the way they are. We get to choose. We get to create. We get to expand. We get to be the light in places of darkness. And that's the power of bringing yourself to it. And that's why all the beautiful teachers will always say to you, become that light first. Don't go just by mental interest into these rabbit holes and into this research and into that stuff. Don't go into, if you want to create change on all levels, then one of the levels, of course, is politics. And people will tell you, well, it's a very dark and manipulative world. And yeah, it is. But if you come into it as a being of light, and if you know how to shine that light really strongly, if you are so not just persistent, but if it's your nature, because you've practiced it over and over and over, and this is your nature, you are that light, then we can transform even the darkest of aspects of our society, and we can change it from within. And that's why these conspiracy theories are really dangerous, but they're not dangerous to you and I. They're dangerous to this system that is false and fake and has really no foundation. It's really built on quicksand. And that's why it needs violence and why it needs suppression to keep control. And it doesn't work any longer. And as you can see, we're moving into this subject for a reason, because we believe that all of you and so many more out there are really shining lights waiting to brighten the world. And if you see that you are not alone in that, if you see that you are not the only one who has that vision, if you can feel that there's so many out there who want to do the same thing, to create a better, more wonderful, more inclusive, more beautiful, more prosperous and abundant and natural reality for all of us, then you'll get a little more courage to do it every day. And you'll step out and you'll speak up and you'll shine your light and you'll bring it to all those things that appear to be so dark. And remember, if you go into a dark room and you take that box of matches and you strike one match, what happens? The darkness disappears in a second. Not all of it, but it's such a strong force, this light. It has such a beautiful effect on everything. And that's why we're not believers in just pushing stuff away and saying, oh, this is This could be a uncomfortable subject. We don't want to look at this. We don't want to create any ripples. We just want to go with what they say this is. But truth and authenticity have a tremendous, tremendous power. They prevail in the long run. In the short run, sometimes it feels like they lose, but in the long run, they always prevail. And so that's why so many of the truth seekers that have gone down all the rabbit holes, and there's so many, which just goes to show that our reality is not at all what we were told it is. But what happens to most, and this used to be such a divided thing. You used to have these truth seekers. They were very fact-driven and very methodical. And they were going down these rabbit holes. They were figuring out what happened on this event and that conspiracy and that and that and that. And then there was a spiritual community that was saying, well, we're just here. We're just blissing out. We're just doing this. And these communities have merged. And they've therefore created a bigger, better, more all-encompassing reality, because now the people that have understood that it isn't just isolated events that aren't the way we thought they were, but that it's actually a whole system. Now they turn to something better, to something higher. Now they go, okay, we're expanding. We're realizing that we're so much bigger than we thought we were. And that's the breaking point. That's where, as we said a couple days ago, that's where the matrix doesn't just have little cracks in it. It breaks apart, because nothing can stop that. That's just a one and only thing. If you discover your divine power, nothing ever can stop you. Nothing. If you have that connection, if you shine your light, if you really become that, not just 20%, not just 30%, not just, I'm going to play small here because someone might be uncomfortable if I'm living my true bigness. If you really live your true bigness, if you become, the big mama and the big papa that we were all supposed to be, then nothing can stop you. And there's some wonderful examples out there of people and all that are different in their personality, different in their expressions, but they all share one thing. They have been speaking truth for a long time and they're still around. What does that mean? It means that they have discovered a power that is greater than the violence that they could face, that is greater than the persecution that could face, that overcomes that with ease. Because your divine light shines brighter than all of these things. And these people are around and they're speaking truth and they're speaking it loudly and they have zero fear. And that is the key factor. When you move into that light, you also leave behind your fear. You leave behind those doubts. You leave behind the fear of death, the fear of someone coming after you. All those things, they aren't present in your thought process anymore because you have transcended the smallness and moved into the bigness of who you really are. That's the danger for this matrix. And we want to be dangerous to this matrix. We want to be really dangerous to this matrix. We want to transform it from within. We want to see it shattered in a trillion pieces and replaced by something that the world has never seen before, because it's so beautiful and so expansive and so wonderful and peaceful and harmonious. And it brings the people of the world and the people of multiple worlds and planets in the universe together. We see that vision. We see that happening. We see the potential for that. We're moving into it. Allow yourself to move into it too, because we know you can feel it. We know when you hear these words, they resonate in a place deep within you, and they do so for a reason. Allow yourself to dream that big, to become that big of a creator, because that's who you were meant to be. That's why you came here. That's why you're here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. So, what did I miss in the comments?
Alma made a contribution again.
Thank you so much. Alma has been so generous and contributing in our live chats. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know what I'm seeing here? Every time I see a contribution from Alma, I see one of those chocolate croissants that you love from the Triple Crown Bakery here in Franklin. Let me see. See, there's baby. Someone said in the last live stream, it doesn't. The live stream doesn't happen until we have baby here. Let me go. I'm gonna go down, and if you guys have any questions, let us know. If there's anything you want to contribute or add, or have any questions. Other than that, it's been a powerful week so far. I can't believe it's only Wednesday. So much has happened again, and is always happening. We also want to invite you. This, our journey of inspiration and expansion is happening on so many levels. The more we allow, the more it happens. So one of the things that we have been doing for 6 months now or so, probably, is the inspired membership calls, and it's a very, very, very wonderful group of people that we move with every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard. It's a monthly thing, so it's a $69 a month membership, and we meet every week. And it's a constant expansion. It's constantly on the edge of the comfort zone, and we see the growth and the beautiful unfolding of our membership members. It's just so satisfying and beautiful to watch that, and to see this expansion and to be part of it. So if you feel inspired, and this is a dedicated, more focused, it's we introduce practices and tools, and we do meditations together and journeys. So
we also answer a lot of questions and go into details what people might feel is holding them back or whatever.
Yes, so it is a very hands-on, focused expansion work that we do together. And as Kristin says, we answer questions, we do processes, tools, we move. Literally, it's all about movement. It's really always moving forward. So if you feel inspired to do something like that, join us. Come check it out for a month or so. See if you want to stick around. And it's, you can cancel anytime. There's no contract or anything. But if you feel like, you could use a community and a group of people to move with together, the membership the iMembership is a very, very good place. Just send us an email or check it out on our website, inspiredchannel.net.
Practice clients.
Yes. So for those of you who are signed, who are on our email list, you're going to receive a really cool email very soon. We've been sparse with those emails because we don't want to spam you or make you feel like we're, spamming your inbox. But we started earlier this year the ICA Inspired Coaching Academy, where Kristin and I are teaching a wonderful group of aspiring coaches to become inspired coaches throughout the year, and later on take on clients and help others. And right now, in every stage of this learning process, they will need practice clients. And so people have asked, what does that mean? It means that, they learn certain techniques, they learn certain processes, and then they are looking for practice clients to learn this with and to become better at it. And so this is not really a coaching per se. It is more you giving your time and having kind of a secondhand benefit from them practicing. But our coaches are always looking for more practice because, they want to get better. So if you feel inspired to, give a little bit of your time, send us an email to 365inspiredliving@gmail.com, and we will connect you with the coaches. And then you can become a practice client, maybe for one session, maybe for 3. You can figure all of that out. It's free of charge for all parties involved. But it's a beautiful thing. And they're, for example, what they're practicing right now, one of the things that they're doing is they have created and are creating and are practicing journeys that they do. And basically what you will do is you will close your eyes and relax, and they will guide you through a beautiful journey and take you to wonderful places and have you experience beautiful feelings and relaxation. That's one of the things that they're doing. And so that's usually a highlight for everyone. So if you want to experience something like that and help our coaches to become better, then please send us an email and we'll forward it to the group and someone will reach out to you. So that said, Inspire Tribe, thank you for joining us again. We will be here again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard. Christine and I will go on a beautiful walk later, and we will probably talk about you guys, and a wonderful topic will fall from the sky that you all have sent out, because so many times we get messages later on where people say, I can't believe you were talking about this today. Literally 2 hours before the live stream came on, I was thinking about that. I had questions, and boom, there you were. So this is how it works. We don't sit here and kind of go through the topics. They fall into our laps because that's what you guys put out. So that's why we always say we are the tribe. We are co-creators, all of us together. And I want to leave you with this one thought. Be the grand light that you really are, because all of you are. All of you are in your own right, in your own way, in your own unique expression. And don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you're small, insignificant, meaningless, or powerless. Nothing could be further from the truth. And we know this to be true. Inspired Tribe, thank you for joining us. We love you. Please hit the like button. Please send us an email or a message. Join us and come back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard. We'll be here. We love you all. Bye.